What is something that you used to do as a kid and only realized years later to be extremely inappropriate? NSFW. I slapped my grandma in the face while she was sleeping because I watched too many Spanish telenovelas and wanted to know how it feels like to slap someone. I was so proud of not having a gag reflex I told everyone I met. Rubbed myself every day after school in the living room until I got the body tingles. When I was a kid I was a super tomboy, so all of my friends were boys. I think they kind of accepted me as one of their own and gender never really became a consideration. At least that is my theory as to why this happened. I was hanging out with my bestie Ellie in my bedroom, back when I was like 6. He told me he wanted to play a game that all the boys in the class had played, and I couldn't tell anyone. They called it the penis game. Before I could even react, he whipped it out. Apparently the point was just to show it. I told him I didn't want to. A couple weeks later, I really wanted a sleepover with him. My parents said no, and I thought I wasn't allowed because he was a boy, which is actually plausible. So, in my brilliance, I told them it's fine, I can sleep over, because I've already seen his penis. That didn't go over well. I took one of those disposable cameras and took pictures of me nude at like 5 years old and buried them like time capsules. So when I was around 6 to 7, someone kept tagging all the signposts around our area with black stickers with orgy written on them in neon orange or neon green. After I kept seeing them, I asked in front of the whole family what's an orgy. My sisters, 17 over 18 at the time, looked very uneasily at my parents and they managed to come up with the answer, it's a party. I replied, I want to go to an orgy. Not me. But at the DMV the other day, this 5-year-old kid kept slapping his mom's ass. I always said good riddance to people because I thought it was a classy goodbye. I used to call black people chocolate people. More hilariously dangerous than inappropriate, really. I like to make potions by combining everything I found under the bathroom sink. I would then laugh maniacally at my eldritch creation, feed it to my stuffed animals, and inevitably dump it on the lawn. This was always unsupervised because it made mom angry for some reason. I'm honestly surprised I didn't wind up making mustard gas and kill myself. Right around the time I hit puberty, my 3 years younger sister and I decided we both really wanted boyfriends, but we wanted to be good at it, so we used to hide in my closet and practice kissing, so we'd know how. I think at some point we realized how effing weird we were being and stopped, and we haven't spoken about it since. I used to hump my bed. People would come over and come say hi to me in my bedroom and there I was 6 years old taking my twin bed for a vigorous ride through Pound Town. I'm a female and I used to masturbate. At school. When I was quite young. I remember being 6 and 7 and dropping down, touching myself and carrying on my merry way. I had literally no idea this was a problem. No one told me, till my mom talked to me about it years later, just kind of brought it up in passing in grade 6, didn't give me a talking to or anything. TL, doctor, I used to get down and full on masturbate in class, on the field at recess. Had no idea it was a thing or an issue, just felt good. Breathing by using my vagina. Oh god, I remember this and cringe just thinking how awkward it was for my parents to watch. When I was little, about age 6 through 9, I was obviously out of the loop on anything sexual, especially masturbating. We had one of those electric brushes used to massage your scalp. I used it while watching TV with my parents, right in the crotch area. I used to cover myself with a pillowcase or something. I guess I always knew it was kind of wrong. The worst of all, everyone could hear the loud buzzing coming between my legs. My female cousin was an early bloomer, around 10, the both of us, so when we were together, we used to wrestle each other like on WWE. Strange looks from parents ensued, and I realized how weird that was. I used to sneak into my elderly neighbor's house and hide behind the couch. She would call my mom and tell her whenever I was over there so that my mom wouldn't freak out wondering where the hell I was. I also had a habit of just barging into my best friend's house whenever I felt like. No one taught me about knocking or doorbells, apparently. The whole gender thing confused me when I was a kid. I went to everyone I met and asked whether they had a penis or a vagina. Most found it funny, but some people weren't amused. Edit, till I'm Goku. Edit 2, till I'm also Professor Oak. Stick my finger up my butt then make my mom smell it. I don't remember why, but it seemed like a good idea at the time. When I was 2 I used to think the word asshole was a term of endearment. Edit, what makes the story funny, as opposed to what many have pointed out, my parents are happily married. They just celebrated their 30 years last week. My school report from when I was 5 reads he would do quite well at school, if only he stopped playing with his penis. I have no recollection of this. Asking my boy neighbors to flash me their penises. We were like 7. Edit for clarification. When I was 11 my family got cable, and we sat down to watch Good Morning Vietnam. When Robin Williams said, "You're in more dire need of a blowjob than any white man in history," I turned to my mother and said, "Mom, what's a blowjob?" I had never seen her cringe in my life until that moment, but in a rare show my dad came to her rescue and said, "She doesn't know." Being a girl, I got a lot of baby dolls when I was young. This being the late 80s and early 90s, a lot of them were pretty effing hideous. So I did what any girl would do in that situation. I scribbled over their faces with a red marker, then hosted a public execution for them for the crime of being ugly. I'd hang them with yarn and scrunches around their necks, then buried them in the back of my closet to be forgotten about. I had my cutest stuffed animals and dolls watch, so they'd know what happened to ugly people. I was bullied a lot. When I was in like 4th grade I would take booty pics on my mom's camera. Ding dong ditch. I did it so much, and I didn't understand why people got mad. But I would get so mad now if some little shit did that at my house. My cousin and I used to tie each other up when we were around 7 to 9 years old, very sexual and awkward. Go past the bra section with my mum and touch all the bras saying big booby little booby touching every bra. Let me tell you, my Barbie dolls got around. Little kid life pro tip, if you use a rubber band, you can make your Barbies hump *FOREVER*. For the brief moment I was into the WWF and WCW, I would run around and do the suck it symbol while screaming suck it in an angry voice. My mom wasn't too happy when she got a phone call from my school. When I was 6 or 7 years old, my parents got me this children's book about human body. The one thing I took from it was the reproductive system. Of course I had no idea what sex was back then, but I vaguely remember that I'd pretended that the big haystack in our backyard was an egg, and I was a sperm. I literally crawled like a snake in the grass towards the haystack, dove my head into it and screamed fertilization. Not inappropriate since only my parents saw it, but I think it's worth mentioning. I was about 7 years old. I had never seen black people before. I grew up in rural parts of Canada, and my father took me to Montreal to see museums and go see an IMAX film. So we end up driving to the nearest underground metro, subway, station to park there and take the metro to the city. And then I see black people everywhere. Holy shit, so I just keep quiet and follow my dad inside the train. We are surrounded by black men and women sitting next to us and standing too. And then I ask my dad, why are there so many black people? Are we taking the train to Africa? My dad's face turns bloodshot red and a black woman looks at me smiling. My dad is mortified, and we got off the next stop. He still likes to tell this story at family gatherings. Had a pee corner in my bedroom for a few months, when I was 6. Edit. So apparently I'm not alone in this, must be something about the rush of peeing where you're not supposed to. That intrigues a lot of us. Humped the bed while watching trashy people on daytime talk shows, not knowing why it felt good. I still do it, but at least now I know why. I literally headbutted men in their crotch. Though it wasn't very forcefully, you can imagine their reactions when a 5-year-old little Asian girl greeted them that way. The Bud Parade. My older sister and I, a dude, used to come downstairs, get naked, get on all fours, put our buds together, and waddle around the house announcing that the Bud Parade was common to town. Great, you made it to the end. Now smash that like button and subscribe for even more videos like this one.